السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين. اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا آمين يا رب العالمين. So here we are with our session number 142, and I'm going to go over a quick review of the last session that we have covered on Anwau is, which means the types of is. Is, as we have learned in our last session, has two types. Is al-ismiya, and is can be a harf as well. It is going to be is al-ismiya when it is used in the meaning of a zarf or fail madin, when it is being used as hina. It is also used for future with the meaning of hina again. And in this case, you will see it is borrowing the qualities of iza, because when we learned is and iza, we learn it as it is pushes the meaning into the past and iza pushes the meaning into the future. Sometimes is going to be seen before a future event, so it acts like an iza. So sometimes is and iza can be used interchangeably. It can be used as maf'ulun bihi in the meaning of waqt. It can be used as a badal min al maf'ulun bihi when maf'ulun bihi is already mentioned. It can be used as mudafun ilayhi, and is can be seen as a word with a tanween izin in a word yawma izin or yawmu izin. So you have seen that in Quran when it is missing its mudaf ilayhi, is going to be with a tanween, and it is an ism in that case. The last two ones are when is a harf. It comes in the meaning of harf mufaja'ah. Who remembers the meaning of mufaja'ah or fujaya? What is the meaning of fujaya or mufaja'ah? Certainly, barakallahu feek. And it can be used in the meaning of ta'lil. This one we did not cover in our last session, so I'm going to cover this with you in today's session, and then we'll go on to learn the lesson for today, inshallah. So this verse, Surah Al-Zuhraf, verse number 39, here you can see وَلَن يَنْفَعَكُمُ الْيَوْمَ إِذْ ظَلَمْتُمْ أَنَّكُمْ فِي الْعَذَابِ مُشْتَرِكُونَ. So here, if you look at this is, your partnership in the punishment will not benefit you all today. Should I say when you did wrong, or should I say because you did wrong actions? What should I use? Is should be translated as when, or it should be translated as because? Are you saying it because the harf, it is harf ta'lil, or is it because your senses are telling you that this action, this one, is zalamtum, does not make sense because this verse is talking about the day of judgment, right? This verse is talking about the day of judgment, and maf'ul fihi, or when you are going to translate it as a zarf, in that case, the action and the time, maf'ul fihi is, the time of an action, right? On the day of judgment, can we do zulm on the day of judgment itself? We cannot, right? Everything is, the book is closed, everything is closed. There's no, you are not doing any action that day. You're not doing any zulm that day. So, but however, if I translate it as because you did zulm, does it make more sense to you? What do you think? Because in the past you have done a lot of zulm, and that is why on this day your partnership with each other in the punishment is not going to be of any benefit. When I am saying your partnership in punishment, annakum fil azabi mushtarikun, who can tell me the grammar of annakum? This jumla ismiya, anna harf nasb, kum ismu anna, fil azabi muta'alliq bil khabar, mushtarikuna is going to be khabru anna Anna is a word just like an or just like ma can be a masdar, right? Can be a masdar. And it can, it can be harf masdariya. So if it is a harf masdariya, so this masdarul muawwal, what should be the status of this masdarul muawwal? Can it be, think about it, yanfa'a. Yanfa'a, everyone is saying naswin status. So let me see, your partnership will not benefit you all today. If I'm translating it as your partnership will not benefit you all today, it's going to be an outside doer. في محل رفع. في محل رفع. المصدر المؤول is going to be في محل رفع. It's because it is a file for ينفع. Okay. Now اليوم is going to be متعلق. What are you going to label اليوم? It's a zarf, it is answering your when question, it is mutalik bil fail, or you can, mafulun fihi, right? Mutalik bil fail or maful fihi. But this one, some may say that this is a badal from al yoma, but do you think that it makes sense that this is a badal from al yoma? Can this be? Think about it. No, it cannot be, right? Because on that day, they are not doing any zone. When they did zone lot long ago, right? This is because they did wrong. So this is a verse where you will find a difference in opinion among the scholars, how they are going to label is. But I'm going to, go with that. Is this a harf here? It is a harf ta'lil. If you all agree, and you can all feel free to disagree, but it makes more sense to me that I give it a labeling of harf ta'lil. And the jumla ta'liliya, do you remember what are the i'rab for jumla ta'liliya? Do they have any i'rab in surat Rahman? I've taught you when sentence is jumla ta'aliliya, you call it, that's jumla is not going to have any i'rab. It's going to be la mahalla laha min al i'rab. Okay, always remember it has no i'rab. Okay, all your sentences la'allakum tashkurun, la'allakum, wherever you are having a jumla ta'aliliya, remember it has no i'rab. It is la mahalla laha min al i'rab. So this sentence, this part, it has no i'rab. However, how you are going to label it as is that you are going to call is as harf, and zalamtum jumla failure, and this is going to be jumla ta'liliya, and it is going to be la mahalla laha min al i'rab. Okay, so that was that. And here you can see li anna means because, and is used in the meaning of li anna. So that was a little bit about is ta'liliya. You have already understood, I hope, is fujaya when you translated in hadith Jibril, that when I translated this is as suddenly a man appeared. Does it make sense? And this is, you are going to see it after bainama or baina. Baina wa bainama. If is this after baina wa bainama, that is this, look for, just check it if it is fujaya. Okay. So now a little bit of review. I'm going to show you one second before I take you to review. Let's see here. You are seeing here is qalat imra'atu imrana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying when the wife of Imran said, what kind of is this? Just quickly. The uskuru was there, and it is mahzuf, and it is maf'ul bihi for uskuru, because the is starting, it's seen at the beginning of a verse that is narrating a past incident, right? A past story. Wherever you are going to see is in the beginning of a story in Quran, remember it's going to be maf'ulun bihi for uskuru. Uskuru may be there, uskuru may not be there. In that case, when it is not there, you are going to say that it is mahzuf. Okay, remember that. And please kindly keep yourself mute. Okay, now this is bada is here. Is this is ismiya? When it is mudafun ilayhi, it is going to be ismiya, and here it is mudaf ilayhi for bada, so it is going to be ismiya, and this is going to be mudaf itself as well. Not only mudaf ilayhi, it is also mudaf, and jumla fi'liya after it's mudafun ilayhi. Now I will want you to label this one for me. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يُلْقُونَ أَقْلَامَهُم. Here, ma kunta. What kind of a sentence are we seeing here? Jumla ismiya. Ma is entering here. Ma is, what kind of a ma we are seeing here? Ma nafiya. Should you call it Hijaziya or should you call it Ghair Amila, since it is entering before Fail Madin Nakis, and I told you that you are going to call it Ma Ghair Amila in this case as well, because that is why I was very particular about these Kana sentences, that you have to label Kana as Fail Nakis, Madin, Wa Ismu Kana, Taul file, and then you know, when you do all that, it is going to be easy for you to label ma as ma nafiya ghair amila, because you are seeing ma entering a sentence that is fail madin, and yes, it is treated as jumla ismiya, but its originally it is a fail, right? Fail naqis. So kunta is going to be, as I said, is going to be fail madin naqis wa ismu kana ta taul file ladayhim. What are you going to label ladayhim? Lada. Lada has to do with the zarf. Yeah, so it's a zarf idafa. So call it muta'alliq bil khabar, right? Muta'alliq bil khabar kana. Is yulquna iqlamahum. Aqlamahum. You were not with them when they were throwing their pens. So is, it is ismiya. What is the labeling for this is? It is in the meaning of hina, absolutely right. So you can call it, but you are seeing a jumla ismiya. So what should be the, should I call it mafulun fihi, or should I, it's easier for me to call it muta'alliq bil khabar. I'm going to call it muta'alliq bil khabar, and that's going to keep things easy and understandable for me. Similarly, wama kunta ladayhim is yahtasimun. You were not with them when they were fighting, right? The same is going to be muta'alliq bil khabar, and it is zarf here. It is used as a zarf here. In case of إذ قالت الملائكة, again it is maf'ul bihi. Just like I tell my sister, you remember that time when we used to go to Nano's house and we used to eat bananas, or we used to eat oranges? So याद करो उस वक्त को. So when I say something like that, that remember that time, am I asking her to go in that time, or I'm just asking, using waqt or time as maful bihi? What do you think? Maful bihi. So always remember that your word could be anything, but it can be not always used in the meaning of maful fihi. So in that case, you must be using it as it should be used. Waqt, time, is the same word used in Urdu as well. So it's going to be helpful for you when is used in the meaning of waqt. It is maf'ul bihi for uskuru, which can be there, which may not be there. Okay. So that was all about is, and I have one small thing for you. There is, I'm so sorry, I did not took my thing out, which I should have. Okay, no. Google Docs. Let's see. Sorry. So, okay. Name the lam after which comes the unintended consequence of an action. Akiba. Akiba itself means a consequence. Remember that. For example, if I tell you, Musa alayhi salam is talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and saying, Rabbana innaka atayta fir'auna wa mala'ahu zinatan wa amwalan fil hayati dunya. My Rabb, indeed you gave Fir'aun and his elites adornments and wealth in this worldly life. Rabbana, one second, this. Rabbana li yudillu an sabilika. This li. If you call it lamu ta'lil, what's the problem with that? It's not an intention, right? It is not it is liyudillu is lamu nasiba. The fail is mansoob bi hasbin noon because it is from afalul khamsa that have noon as their letter of status. So this is mansoob in status. Li is making yudillu mansoob bi hasbin noon because yudillu is from afalul khamsa. But ataita, but it was not Allah's intention. Can a prophet tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it gives a very wrong meaning if you call it lamu ta'lil, don't you think? What do you think? It gives a very, very wrong meaning that a prophet is saying that you gave Pharaoh and his elites beauty and wealth in this worldly life, so that they lead astray from your path, right? It's like blaming someone, ma'azallah, right? So this li is a consequence. It's a consequential lam. You will call it lamul aqiba. Does it make sense to each and every one of you? Type 1 if it does, okay? So this is not an intention. You will see what was the intention of the doer and just look after lam. Was that the intention of the doer? What is coming after lam? If that is not the intention of the doer, then you call li as lamul aqiba, okay? So for example, people say that we don't celebrate birthdays, right? And it's they take it to the level where they are almost making it haram, okay? So is there anywhere in Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that celebrating birthdays is haram? And don't take it an offense to this. This is just an example to make you understand something, okay? So the intention is to make you understand something. So sometimes you take it to the level that you are almost making it haram, but the person who is saying all that, does he want to say a lie about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is that the intention of that person, or they are just trying to be more religious, or they're trying to follow Islam, right? You have to watch the video again, yeah. Right? So there is a difference. But consequentially, however, what happens is that you are all as if you are making something a law that has been ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's not the intention of the person who has been trying to be following the religion as they should, right? So yes, it makes mudari mansoob. Yes, absolutely. So now comes the topic for today. I am going to teach you today something very interesting. Okay. So before I take you to that, I will want you to do this Surat Al-Kafirun, a very beautiful surah, very small, easy surah. And here you can see La abudu ma ta'budun. What is the status of ma here? And what kind of a sentence verse number 2 is? Let's start with that. Ma is going to be Mausula. The Jumla is Jumla Failya, right? Jumla is Jumla Failya. And the status of ma is going to be nasb. It is a mausul ma, right? Ma is mausula, ma is nasb in status. because after abudu, which is fail mudare, wal file, damir mustatir ana, you do not expect any file. Therefore, ma is going to be maful bihi fi mahalli nasbin status, right? Ma is mausula. After every mausul, you look for silatul mausul and you have ta'buduna here, right? And silatul mausul is jumla failya, la muhalla laha min al-i'rab, fail mudare, marfu, بثبوت النون لأنه من الأفعال الخمسة والفاعل واو الجماعة. Okay, so wow is the doer. Status of the fail is rough because of the noon. The noon is there, so we know that status is rough, and that's all about ta'buduna. So now comes the next verse. وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. What kind of a sentence are you seeing now? Jumla ismiya. Okay, can someone translate this one? You've been taught this surah from when you were in kindergarten. I think, and you were taught the translation since when you were in kindergarten. So I think anyone can translate it. If someone cannot, don't take an offense to this. But most of us can do it, right? And not you all worship what I worship. You mean to say? Hmm? Hmm? Yes. Okay. And you all do not worship what I worship. Okay. So let's just put down the translation. You all don't worship what I worship. Is that everyone agree to this translation, or are there any disagreements? Everyone is agreeing to that. Okay, so now when we started learning about our Arab, we went on to see what is doer, subject, and detail, and after off. Remember those three things? So all those things, just keep those in mind. So when I translate it as you all do not worship what I worship, what is, sorry, what is the role of this okay, if I have to ask you what is going to be the role of this what in this sentence, what are the answers? You all do not worship what I worship. It is the detail. Do you think it is a detail? Come back to the very basics. I want you to come back to the basics. I know you, most of you may have already gone over this concept, but for everyone, just come back. Okay, come take baby steps here. So this is answering your detail. And detail, what should be the status of detail? It should be Nuspin status. Okay, and this is, if I see here, okay, well, I'm sorry, let me just cut it, and I have put it in the wrong spot. So there is a sentence, and there is a, you are seeing there's a sentence, and then you have translated it as jumla ismi or jumla felia. Are you translating it as jumla ismi or jumla felia? What do you think? Are you sure? You're translating it as jumla felia. You all do not worship. Isn't there a tense Sister Faiza has attached to it? She has given me this translation, right? She has put a tense here, right? You all do not worship, right? So anything that is stuck in tense is, a fail, right? Do not, your helping verb is, has a tense attached to it. Yes or no? Hmm? So if you are in a jumla failure, you have a fail, file, and you have a maf'ul, right? So what is the role of what here? Real quick. Is it working as maf'ulun bihi? Is it answering your what question of jumla failure? Right? It is acting like maf'ul bihi. Yes. So if I come back to this verse and without, seeing the translation, if I have to give ma, a status, what is going to be the status here? It is going to be nasb in status. It is going to be nasb in status. And if it is nasb in status, ma is mawsula, right? You are treating it as ma mawsula. With every mawsul, you have a silatul mawsul, and silatul mawsul is abudu. Everyone with me so far, and abudu is fail mudare, wal fa'il, damir mustatir, ana, right? And it is marfu with the matu zahira. So, do we normally see any maf'ul bihi in our jumla ismiya that I have covered with you in term 2 or 3? We never saw that, right? Whichever sentences we have done, we have never seen any maf'ul bihi sitting in a jumla ismiya. So, what is happening here? Sometimes what happens is that your sentence has a fail, has a file, or has a ism in it that will start to act like a fail. Is it making any sense to you? Sometimes you will see in your sentence there is an ism that starts to act like a fail. And when that happens, you will see a maf'ul bihi, and sometimes you may not see a maf'ul bihi after it. Anyone remembers any examples of that? Okay, so let's see another one, the next words. Wala ana abidum ma abattum, and I do not worship what you all worship. Am I not again translating it as jumla felia? The same thing is repeated. Ma is again maf'ul bihi. And this verse, as we know, it's a repetition. So same thing is being repeated. Everyone with me so far? Okay. Now let's see here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Is qala rabbuka lil malaikati inni khaliqum basharam min tin." So can someone give me translation for this part? Bashar means man, min tin, clay, tin means clay. Give me a translation. I'm going to create human being from clay. Do you all agree with this translation? Or anyone has a different one? Someone wants to give me a different one. I am going to create a human being from clay. Now, okay. So here you are seeing again, there is inni. Give me the i'rab of inni. What is inni? Keep yourself mute kindly. So there is harf nasb wa ismuha. Ya is ismu inna, right? Khaliqun is what? When you have an ismu inna, you look for khabru inna. And it is khabru inna. Khaliqun, fa'ilun. Is it acting like, let me see here. Is it acting like akhluqu? What do you say? Do you see that there is a meaning that you are getting here, which is kind of like akhluqu? Yes or no? Right? I'm going to create a human being from clay. So here it is the ism khaliqun, a clear ism with tanween, is acting like a fail. What is basharan here? If this is acting like a fail, basharan is answering your what question? What am I creating? Right? It's a detail, so it is maf'ul bihi for ismu file. Everyone understood it so far? So everyone is with me that sometimes you will see in Quran there are going to be isms that will begin to act like a fail, and you can see maful bihi after them. In those cases, when you see that, you, if depending on the siga of the ism, you can call that, basharan, you can label basharan as maful bihi li ismu file khaliqun. Maf'ul bihi li ismu file khaliqun, meaning basharan is maf'ul bihi for ismu file khaliqun. Is khaliqun according to surf, it is an ism file, yes or no? Yes. A big hint is you are going to see an ism in the verse that is going to be nasbin status. Sometimes it may not be there. Okay, sometimes, and for example, if you only take a NUSP status as an example, it may make things sometimes difficult for you. So whenever, however, you see the translation, and you see translation where it makes more sense that you have, despite there is an ism, and it makes more sense that if you translate it as a fail, then start thinking about ism acting as a fail. And a great tip is, either you have a ism in your jumla ismiya that is nasbin status and behaving just like mafulun bihi for does for um, fail. The another thing is, whenever you have ism file, the number one thing that I would want you to remember is, where you have to take a pause, is when you have a word that spells like ismu file, you start to think about that, is this ism file acting as a fail? Is this clear to all of you? Whenever you see an ism file in your verse, take a pause and see if it is acting as a fail. For example, Sister Shamim also put this example there. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifatan. How many hints are there in this verse that are giving you that is a giveaway for your ism acting as a fail? Two. There are two. So what are those two? Number one is ism file ja'ilun, and number two is you have a ism that is nasbin status. So, inni aj'alu fil ardi khalifatan, right? So it was basically aj'alu. What is the meaning of aj'alu? If I have a hamza, aj'alu, I will make, or I will create, right? So indeed, I will make in the earth a khalifa, a successor. Everyone, are you getting this point? So always take a pause whenever you have something that is going to be on a pattern of ism file. It's very important for each and every one of you to familiarize yourself with the spellings of ism file. Just like I've been telling you when I was teaching you sarf, that familiarize yourself with the spellings, right? So now you will understand that how important those spellings were that were taught to you in your term 4 or something, right? So fa'ilun, mufa'ilun, mufa'ilun, muf'ilun, mutafa'ilun, mutafa'ilun, munfa'ilun, mufta'ilun, all those words, if your word is on a pattern of ism file, and that is one ism, there can be other spellings, there can be other isms that will work as a fail as well. Your ism maf'ul can also work as a fail as well. Keep that in mind. However, the most common examples that you're going to see in Quran are going to be with ism file. You are going to see this one way more than ism maf'ul acting as a fail. When ism file is there, it acts like your active fail. It acts like fail ma'aloom. When ism maf'ul starts to act like a fail, which fail does it act like? What do you think? It will very well done. It's going to act like you're passive. It's going to act like you're passive. Like ism file acts like a fail ma'loom. Ism maf'ul, you will see it is going to act like your fail majhool. Okay? Everyone with me? Clear? Today, since this is our introductory session for ism acting like a fail, so I want you to be well versed with all these. The common ones I have put in for you. The last two, you don't see them, so I did not put them. So, but this slide should be memorized by heart. It's important for you to be very, very, well versed with this slide. You should know that whenever I see some file, I have to take pause, especially when there is a ism in my words that is nasb in status. I hope this was clear to each and every one of you. Now, let's see here. Bani Israel, lot of stories, lot of learning from their example. So, there was a okay. Wallahu mukhrijun. Mukhrijun ma kuntum taktumun. Let's quickly do the i'rab of this verse. Wallahu, jumla ismiya. Yes or no? Wallahu, jumla ismiya, lafzul jalala, mubtada marfu litta'azim, right? And when you have a mubtada, you look for khabar and your khabar is mukhrijun, right? Mukhrijun is your khabar. Mukhrijun is spelled like your ism file, yes or no? Can someone tell me which family does it belong to? Mukhrijun, big family or mujarrad? With meme dhamma, it is going to be big family because meme dhamma cannot be family one at all. It's going to be big one. So you have to forget about family one and you have to go to mazid fihi, which can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? Now comes which family? It is from if'al, very well done. It is from aslama family. Akhraja yukhriju ikhrajan, fahuwa mukhrijun. And Allah, let's see. Ma kuntum taktumun. He will bring out what you all have been hiding. Yes or no? Now let's look at this. This ma, what type of ma are you seeing here? Ma is going to be Mausula again, as Sister Faiza and Sister Aisha are saying, and Sister Amreen is agreeing, and everyone is on the same page. If I ask you, Allah is going, let me see the translation again, what Sister has, He will bring out, He will bring out what you all have been hiding. So this what is answering my what question. It's a detail. It is going to be في محل نصب مفعول به for ismu file mukhrijun. Ma is mausula. After every mausul, what should I look for? Sila. Kuntum taktumun. What kind of sila? Jumla ismiya. Give me the i'rab. Just the i'rab. I want a fail madin naqis, right? Now tell me, it's number one, the sentence is la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Very well done because it is silatul mawsul. So now it is naqis, it is madin, wa ismu kana, right? I will not look for doer, right? Wa ismu kana, what is the ismu kana here? Ta is the ismu kana. Ta is the ismu kana. Meme is for masculine plural. When I have a ismu kana, what is the next step? Should I look for file or should I look for khabru? Barakallahu feek. I must look for khabru kana, and my khabru kana is what kind of a khabar I have here? I have jumla failya as my khabar, and this is going to be fi mahalli nasbin. Very well done because khabru kana wa akhwatuha is fi mahalli nasbin or nasbin status. Taktumuna is fail mudare marfu bi subutin noon wal file wawil jama. Everyone on the same page. Easy so far? And understood that you will come across in Quran isms that will act like fail. Alhamdulillah, right? And you are not going to ask anyone. You will not go here and there. Oh, what is this? Why am I seeing a nasb ism in a jumla ismiya? No, you will take a pause. You are going to remember, you are going to reminisce this lecture where you have been taught that your isms can act like a fail and they can take mafulun bihi in that case, right? I hope I did not make it very complicated for all of you. Now that is that. My question now is, when you have a fail, does it not come to your mind that if I have a fail in the language, in Arabic language, I have akhraja yukhriju ikhrajan fahuwa mukhrijun. Why Allah did not say wallahu yukhriju ma kuntum taktumun? Does it this question not bother you? That it could have been wallahu yukhriju ma kuntum taktumun, and you would have labeled it the same way. It would have been a lot easier then. Very well done. Ism is permanent. Ism is permanent. It it is not time bound, right? It is not restricted to time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating. What do you think is Surah Tul Baqarah? Where was it revealed? Who remembers? Who can tell me? Is it the Madani Surah or Makki Surah? Where are we sitting? You are sitting right in Medina. Just imagine yourself, take yourself back 1400 years, and you are in Medina and you are talking to Jews of the time. Your prophet is talking to the Jews of time, and he is telling them, and Allah is going to bring out what you all have been hiding. But this story was a story of the past. This story was the story of Bani Israel, who Musa alayhi salam had to deal with. If you see, there was a killing, and people started to blame each other for that murder, if you remember. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ended the words that Allah is going to bring out what you all have been hiding. Don't you think the Jews of Medina were not hiding something? Were they not plotting against Muslims? Yes or no? So it is not restricted to the time of Bani Israel. By using Mukhrijun, Allah is saying, I am going to bring out what you all have been hiding as well. Not only the Jews of that time, but the Jews of this time are going to be exposed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used this to give them a warning. This is coming up as a warning. Be careful. Make sense or no sense? Similarly, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to angels, indeed, I am going to create a human being from clay. From dust we are, and to dust we return. Has Allah not created us as well? Was that process of creation ended with Adam alayhi salam? Right? So, Khaliq, the creator, what do you think is more powerful? The creator or he creates or he will create or he created? Which statement appears, more powerful? Creator. When you call your Rabb the creator of all, it makes a big impact. It changes things. Just few examples to make things very, very simple and to for each and every one of you to know, when you say someone he is a liar, you have totally ruined the honor of that person. Yes or no? Al-Kadhib, you leave any reconciliation grounds for anything, or you just you just you said it and it's all you have put a very it's a very strong statement. He is a liar. Hmm? There are no ifs and buts around it now. He is just you have demolished that person actually, from my if you think about it. So but in if I say he lied or he lies, it has some room where I'm leaving some room that he lies here and there, but or he has lied, but he is not lying anymore. Does it make sense to you all? When somebody says he lied, उसने झूठ बोला, और वो झूठ बोलता है तो उसमें कोई रूम रह जाता है. जब आप किसी को झूठा कह देते हैं, when you are calling someone a liar, you don't leave any room for improvement for that person. On the other hand, when you say Prophet was truthful person, right? He was a truthful person. That also, that is it, right? All you hear from his mouth is going to be the truth, right? It's a permanent quality. But when we say he spoke the truth or he speaks the truth, which statement appears powerful to you? The first statement, if I have to compare these two, one or two, Jumla ismiya is way more powerful compared to Jumla fi'liya. Because in this case, you said that, he's a truthful person. All you are going to hear from is truth. There is no room for lies, right? And very relevant to women, you are pretty versus you looked pretty. Which one is more um, flattering? The first statement, right? So when somebody says you are pretty, that is, or you're beautiful, or there's a difference, right? So you look beautiful, maybe that, you looked beautiful, but right, you are not looking beautiful right at the moment, right? You look like, homeless, like I'm talking about myself only, but right? So there is a reason. And I'm going to now bring to you, as Sister Ambreen mentioned, that ism is going to indicate a permanent quality. Ism is not time bound, it's not stuck in time. Ism is going to show you something that the action has istimrar in it. Ism comes for emphasis. Ism comes as an inherent, when somebody, um, is when you describe someone by using an ism, it indicates an inherent quality, like he's always truthful, or he's always a liar, or he's dishonest. Then there is no room there. This is what he is. So let's see a few examples from Quran and see if it is making some sense. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says, inni jailun fil ardi khalifa. Was that only Adam alayhi salam was sent to the earth, and the thing was closed, or there were many khalifas? There was people after people who came after Adam alayhi salam. When it comes to imam, inni ja'iluka linnasi imaman, I'm going to make for the people imam. Many leaders came after Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? From his generation as well, from his zuriyat, right? Then it's this I have already explained, that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Quran is so relevant, that in in Medina, Jews were given a heads up that whatever they were plotting against Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to bring that out as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about himself that he is Had. Hadil lazina amanu. Is Allah not guiding us to the date, or Allah only guided the people of the past? Is this not something that Allah is doing from the creation of the earth, from the time He created the earth? Is He not giving us hidayah time after time? We were blessed with the prophets, and then when the prophethood ended with sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we have been given a miracle that you and me are reading and trying to learn together, right? Is this book and Allah not the guide, right? So Hadin is used here, Hadin, because Allah is the one who guides those who have believed to the straight path. And this action started from the beginning of the creation of the earth, and it's going to stay there. A very beautiful example. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul will taste the death. When I translate it as such, will taste the death. Am I translating it as jumla ismiya or jumla fe'liya? Jumla fe'liya, every nafs. But why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not use here? Why is the word kullu nafsin tazukul maut? Hmm? Tazukul maut, it can be. Because this is the reality. There is no one who is not going to be tasting it. So this is for bound to happen. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, instead of bringing in a fail, used an ism. And is this ism not acting like a fail? You all agree that it is acting like a fail, right? Dhaikatul maut. What will he taste? Is maut, though when you look at it grammatically, it is coming up as mudaf ilayhi. But if I asked you, every soul will taste death, give me a rab for that. It is answering your what question? It is a mafulun bihi for zaika. So here, zaikatu, zaikatun is fa'ilatun. Sometimes the fail can, some file can be in the feminine form as well, and nafs is muannas samai. So here you are seeing zaikatul maut. Inna sa'ata atiyatun, atiyatun, fa'ilatun. Yes or no? Right? And indeed, the hour is coming. The hour is coming. How am I translating it? Like jumla failure. However, sorry, it is not inna, my apologies. Anna sa'ata atiyatun, and that indeed the hour is coming. The day of judgment is coming. As-sa'a is referring to day of judgment. And again here, atiyatun is ism fa'ilatun from mujarrad, form one. Isn't it not acting like a fail, right? It is for sure to happen. That is why an ism has been brought in instead of a fail. So far, who has understood the concept? Who is comfortable? Okay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ. Indeed, those who are convinced that they are the ones who are going to meet their Rabb. Mulaqu, who are certain that they will meet their Lord and they will have to return to Him. Did you notice these translations? They will meet their Lord. Mulaqu. Where do we learn this word? Mulaqu. Who can Mulaqu Rabbi in Idafa? Mulaqu is some file, and anyone can tell that this is some file from which family? Meme Dhamma is telling you that this is from family number 3 because of an alif after the first root letter. Lam, Qaf, Ya are the root letters. Mulaqu, Mulaquna was the original form. It is light because it is a mudaf, right? That indeed they will meet their Lord. So because this meeting, because they are so sure of this meeting, can you see that? How some file has been used here? That they will meet their Lord, translated as a fail, but in actuality, the word is some file. And are we not? Are we not sure, or are we not convinced of that we are going to meet our Lord one day? Inshallah. I hope in a good way. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Kullu shay'in halikun illa wajhahu. Everything will be destroyed except his face. Kullu shay'in, kullu mubtada shay'in, mudaf ilayhi, halikun. Halikun, fa'ilun, right? And all of us are convinced. And see, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to be convinced that, there is no escape from this day, there is no escape from destruction. So be prepared. Be prepared. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using an ism, and it could have been kullu shay'in, yani, yuklikuna. Everything will be destroyed, and everything, there can be a fail instead of halikun, right? We could have seen a fail. Now the next one is very interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 14. And see here comparison is very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes the hypocrites, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we have believed. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيْطَانِهِمْ. Whenever they are with their shayatinihim, when they are with their shayateen, قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ. Indeed, we are with you all. إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ. Indeed, we are only mockers. Everyone, this is going to be nahnu, we are mockers. This is clear, right? Nahnu mubtada mustahzi'una qabr. When Allah talks about himself in the next verse, Allahu yastahzi'u bihim wa yamuduhum fi tughyanihim ya'mahun. And Allah mocks them. Allah did not call himself the one who is mustahzi'un. Did you notice? Because is Allah someone who mocks people? Right? Allah, that does not befit our Rabb, who is merciful, who is Rauf, Rahim, perfect. Right? Subhana wa ta'ala. Yeah? So, how precisely he uses the words, right? So, when Allah talks about hypocrites and there is a negative connotation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used mustahziuna because that is their inherent quality. And for those who mock people, it's very alarming verse. There are some people who, sometimes they mock people, they make fun of them. And this is not just something that is restricted to hypocrites and of Medina. This is something that can be as a bad habit, and me and you may not be saved from it. So we need to be so, so careful that how Allah is, mentioning it in Quran, and there's always a reason for everything. And that, these people, they are admitting this habit of theirs, right? But when Allah quotes himself, Allah is using a fail because fail is not permanent. This is al jazao min jinsil amal. Allah is giving them the jaza of their amal. Allah, but this does not befit Allah. This word cannot befit the most supreme Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope this is clear. Alhamdulillah. So when you have an ism file, or today I wanted you to familiarize yourself with ism acting as a fail. For example, let me give you another example. I don't want you to be confused with too much information. So the last example where I will see how much you have understood. قد أفلح المؤمنون. Can someone give me another way I can write al-mu'minuna? Or I can give you. Can I write here alladhina amanu? Or can I write here? Yes, very good job. Yes, I can say alladhina amanu, or I can say alladhina yu'minuna, right? But did you notice how precisely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using al-mu'minun as if they have perfected their iman? There is no problem with their iman. This is something that is inherent, that has become a permanent quality, though the iman level changes from time to time. But we are talking about those believers who have succeeded indeed. So those who have attained the level of iman that is not bringing them down to a lower level where they are sinning here and there all the time. When you have achieved that iman, you have succeeded. And al-mu'minuna, an ism file there is telling you that these people are those who are khashi'un about their salah. They don't do vain talk. They are very particular about their zakah. They are very protective of their private parts. And they are not those who cross the boundaries. When they are entrusted with an imana, they are ra'un. When they have to do the voluntary prayers, They are very good with that too. They are going to be the Alwari soon. They are definitely going to be the Alwari soon. With that, I will end today's session. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.